All right, so I promised I would make a video kind of describing this. This is what helped me do it. If you need some more clarification, just let me know and I can get that for you, okay? But so it's important to understand that the brachial plexus is a structure of nerves, okay? And that is how the entire upper extremity from our shoulder all the way down to our fingertips gets innervated. That's how our nerves follow. They go from our neck all the way down through our shoulder, through our arm, and all the way down to our fingertips, okay? So it's just a cluster of nerves. That's all the brachial plexus is. By the end of this week, you should be able to draw the brachial plexus in under 2 minutes, okay? It may take me a little bit longer only because I haven't done this in a while, but you should be able to do this, okay? So I'm just gonna walk you through how to do it and how to think about the concepts. So the first thing you want to start off with is drawing 3 horizontal lines. Just like in the video, you want to draw them 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, the first and the third line are going to be sideways Ys, like the letter Y just on its side. So there's 1 and there's 2. We have done such a big chunk of the brachial plexus already. So this end, where our Y's are going to represent our roots, okay? So in the brachial plexus, it's split up into segments. So as it goes from your neck all the way down through your fingertips, you call different parts of the nerves different things. So we start off at the top, and this part is called our roots. So at our roots, we label these C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1, okay? So these are our roots. These roots are located in our neck, in our spinal cord, all right? It's important to think, I'm just gonna reiterate, it's important to think about the brachial plexus as a structure of nerves that goes from your neck all the way down to your hands, okay? Think of it as a pathway, all right? And all of your nerves or all of your signals are gonna be traveling from your neck down to your fingers, okay? So I'll even put neck here so that it's easy to think about. And then fingers over here, okay? So we're going from our neck to our fingers. So we have our roots labeled. And I'll just put a big giant R here, and I'll denote it with like a little dash. So these are our roots. I'll even write it. Okay. Next, we move on to the trunks. Okay. So our trunks are the segment of the brachial plexus that occurs before it starts getting a little bit crazy, okay? So our trunks are divided, we'll say right here. And I'm just drawing a pink line down just so that we can break it down and you can see it in color, all right? So I'm gonna put a T here for trunks. And our trunks are called things, okay? They're labeled. So we have a superior trunk up here. We have a middle trunk, and then we have an inferior trunk. The brachial plexus, when it comes to the names of the structures, they're named based on the location they are in comparison to our major artery that runs through. So we have a giant axillary artery that runs all the way through here, okay? And the way we get the names of the different parts of the brachial plexus, we name them in relation to where they are, where they fall, where the segments fall in relation to the axillary artery. I hope that makes sense. You can shoot me a text and let me know if it does not. So this top part is going to be superior. I'm going to put sup there for superior. This one is middle. Mid for middle, and this one is inferior. So we have our superior trunk. our middle trunk, and our inferior trunk. These three trunks, again, are named based on this invisible axillary artery that runs through here. So if the axillary artery, if this is my axillary artery, the trunk, the superior trunk, is superior to my axillary artery. If this is my axillary artery, the inferior trunk of the brachial plexus is inferior to my axillary artery, okay? And the same for the middle trunk. I hope that makes sense. So we have our roots that are at our neck. We have our trunk that's going a little bit further. We're slowly getting down towards our fingers. Now we have our divisions, okay? So our divisions is the portion where the brachial plexus starts to split up into segments. So it's going to be an X, like this. And then we're going to have a V down here, like that, okay? Where the brachial plexus divides is referred to our division. Okay, so I'm going to kind of demark this, and I'm going to put a letter D here. Hope you can see that, for divisions. All right, so our divisions can get a little bit confusing, okay? 1 second, let me see here. Okay. So, and it's kind of easier to explain the divisions as we get farther down into the brachial plexus, okay? So I'm going to come back to this section just because it gets a little bit confusing, and we'll name that a little bit later. So we have our roots, our trunks, our divisions. Next, we'll have our chords. Okay. Need another color. So I'm going to put a giant C here for chords. Okay. And I will demark this just like this. Okay. So again, just like all of the names of the parts of the brachial plexus are named in relation to the axillary artery, this segment continues to be named in relation to the axillary artery, okay? So if we think of the brachial plexus as running from our neck all the way through to our fingers, I want you to think of this as your hand. Okay. This is a very long hand, but this brachial plexus runs all the way through our hand. Okay. So when we name our chords, this chord is named our lateral chord. I'm going to put a lat there for lateral. This chord right here is named our posterior chord. Post for posterior. And then this chord right here is named our medial chord. MED for medial. All right, now this is when it gets a little bit confusing. People are like, what? What's going on? The lateral chord is named the lateral chord because if we imagine our artery running through here, it's on the lateral side of the artery. The lateral side, the closest side to our thumb, the lateral side. The medial chord is named the medial chord because it's on the medial side, the part closest to our body, okay? And then the posterior chord is named the posterior chord because this segment of the brachial plexus goes behind our artery, okay? I hope that makes sense. All right, so again, they're being named, the parts are being named all in relation to this invisible artery that we just can't see because it would make the picture a lot more complicated. Okay, so we have our roots, our trunks, our divisions, our cords, and then finally we have our branches. Okay, so the way that our branch comes, we make a giant V like that, and we come off like that. Okay, so our branches, 2, 3, 4, let me get another color. It's a bad color. I'll just mark it with a B. Our branches are our nerves down here, okay? And they follow the acronym MARMU. Sorry, it's hard for me to say that. So our first nerve up here is our musculocutaneous nerve. I just put musculo there. Our little nerve coming off of our posterior cord over here is our axillary. Our nerve that's coming off the posterior cord right here, this little tiny segment, I can bring it out a little bit. It's coming off the posterior cord, right? We can trace it all the way back. That's our radial nerve. This segment right here, this V section, where that point is, that's going to be our median nerve. And this section here, that is most medial, so it's closest to our body. It's closest to our body, so our pinky side, right? Closest to our body is our ulnar nerve. Okay? So we have our roots, our trunks, our divisions, our cords, and our branches. I'm going to do another video that explains how to understand the naming convention of the division, because it gets a little bit confusing, okay? But you should be able to memorize, draw this, label every single section, and understand that this is going from your neck all the way to your fingers, okay? Neck to fingers.